He's angry about mortgages. It's Angry Mortgage. He's swearing. He's cursing loud. He's old. He's opinionated. And he's been doing this so damn long. This program is about mortgages, and this is mortgage advice, but the advice may not apply to your situation. Contact licensed mortgage professionals for specific recommendations before you make decisions about mortgages. You may not agree with Ron, but if you don't, he thinks you're wrong. Oh, and did we say there is a lot of swearing?
And we are back. Angry Mortgage is back in the air. And we have a new guest today. This is the Butler Mortgage Office Manager, Jeanine Borges.
That is me.
And she is here today because the other guy's sick.
To put it lightly, yes, that is why.
But sickness happens, you know. I got to admit, like, what really gets to me is sometimes I'll watch, like, real professional shows. Like sometimes it'd be like a series. You know those series of when, you ever watch the cooking channel?
Yeah.
Food channel, and then sometimes there's like a 6-episode thing where it's a battle where they're going to get down to the finals and all that shit, right?
Yeah,
and there's always judges, right? There's always judges.
Like championship baking and
all that stuff, yeah. And even the Gordon Ramsay shit and all that. And every once in a while, there'll be an episode where, Judge Smith couldn't come in today, so we're replacing them with Judge Jones. Like, I'm thinking to myself, for the love of Christ, it's 6 episodes. You couldn't get somebody to show up for 6 episodes in a row? Okay, but yeah.
That's pretty bad.
People get sick, okay?
For sure.
People get sick, you got to stay on schedule. And Sacha, who was here last week, is sick as hell. And because there is in Canada, there's some kind of endless, never stopping respiratory stuff.
Oh my God, it's so bad this year.
You had it.
Yeah, I did.
You
did.
It was like 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I had it, but I never get that sick for whatever reason. Now, it's funny, you know, I'm old, but I never really get very sick. Because what I figure will happen is I'll just fucking keel over one day.
Oh my God.
Okay, that'll be it. Like, it's just, what happened to Ron? He's down. Ron's down. Oh, he's dead.
Actually, we were just making a joke in the office here that Ron always comes in. Doesn't matter if he's dying, if he's sick, he'll be half dead. He's going to come in a casket. He's still coming to work.
No, but I will just, you know, the guys, people always ask me, you know, in the industry, Ron, what's your retirement plan? My retirement plan is they'll take me out in a body bag.
From Butler Mortgage, yeah.
Look, here's the deal. And a lot of people don't know this because a lot of people crave retirement. They want to retire. They hate their jobs. And I got to say that, like, you know, this is really important because would you say that you enjoy your work?
Oh, yeah.
You sure?
Yeah, I have a good time.
Good.
I mean, look who I work with.
Yeah, well, we're gonna dispel some myths in a minute. One of the things that I've come to realize in life is that time off is better than work. Okay, well, like the best comment I ever got on that was I went to this huge meeting 40 years ago. I was at this huge meeting. There was thousands of people. There was a guest speaker from the States, and he put on a terrific presentation. I was fortunate enough to be invited up because after these big meetings, there's usually some cocktail receptions later, and if just a few people go up. I was lucky enough to be invited, and the speaker was there, and there's this young guy, very young, and he was so excited. You could tell he was just like sparks were flying off, and he was so excited. And he went up to the speaker and said, "My God," he said, "you know, you make me so enthusiastic about our industry, and like I gotta admit, like every day is I just a pleasure to work every day, and a pleasure to come into work, and I just love my work." Wow. So this guy was from Tennessee. So he said, "So, son, you're telling me you just love your work?" And he said, "Yes, I do. I'm so enthused. I get up early every day." And I go, "Well, son, the only thing I can say for sure is if you love your work, you don't know fuck all about play. I play it better every single time. Okay, like really, if you love your work, there's something fucking wrong with you. Like, go out and have fun." So I took that to heart. You know, I took that to heart. Like, I mean, yes, don't hate your work. That's
Yeah.
stupid,
Mhm.
right? But
I can understand both sides for sure. Because I mean, a lot of people like routine, right? So the fact of having a job and having the routine every day.
Yeah.
But I mean, who doesn't love the weekend? Who doesn't love Friday nights, Saturday nights?
vacation is good. I mean, that's for sure. So yeah, but I figure for people like me, there's some kinds of work that aren't too hard. Okay,
Mhm.
like one of the very smartest guys in the mortgage business, when I asked him about whether he'd want to retire, because he was the same age as me,
Mhm.
and he said, Ron, he said, the money's good, and it's not outdoor work. You know, I'm not running the
Not
snowplow.
physical labor.
Not running
yeah.
the snowplow. Okay,
Mhm.
like we can stay.
Yeah.
And my final observation on this is that if you go to the big law firms in town, and even some medium-sized ones, if you go to a big law firm around noon, their elevators always come up and empty out some very, very fucking old lawyers.
Oh, yeah.
Ones sometimes they're in a walker, sometimes they have a cane. They all look pretty
They're
good.
still going, eh?
They look pretty good, but they're in their 80s,
Yeah.
okay? And the firm just keeps letting them come in because
Mhm.
they do bring in some business.
Right.
They don't cost anything really. I mean, the offices are there anyway, right?
Mhm.
But you might say to yourself, well, why is an 83-year-old lawyer going into the office every
Why
day?
is he still working?
Because he can,
Yeah.
right? Like it's not hard work. It's
Mhm.
not physical. It's
Yeah.
not. And the company doesn't have a policy of, well, we got to get rid of this old fuck because
Mhm.
the young guys are better. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, because that sneaky, scheming old lawyer, he's got some tricks.
He does
still.
have some tricks.
He's
for
still got
sure.
some tricks. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's very specific. Like his book of tricks is gotten smaller over the years, but the tricks still work.
But yeah, for
and
sure.
the customers who are his age, his clients who are his age,
Mhm.
still want him.
Yeah.
And he's billing $800 an hour. So,
Right.
yeah. Why not? So I'm not billing $800 an hour, although I should. But I figure, you know me by now, okay?
I do.
Like I come in every day at the crack of noon.
Yep.
Right. I'm not.
Unless I force you to come earlier.
Like I'm not blowing my brains out here, folks. Okay, like I'm not. All right. So just keep on working. That's my position on all this. Just keep on coming in, keep on doing it until I keel over. That's all. And
You just got to say it like that, eh?
What do you think's wrong with him? He's on the ground. Like, is he breathing? Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's over, folks.
Who's going to do the podcast? That'll be the next question. Who's going to do the podcast? Anyway. All right. Jeanine is our office manager. So you can solve a question that sometimes people have. We have questions from the viewers, questions from the listeners.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll say, I mean, it's Angry Mortgage, but he's not that bad. I mean, like he doesn't seem like such an angry guy. He doesn't seem like such a bad guy. So you can now tell your truth, okay? Like there are moments that are pretty fucking bad.
Yeah,
right?
there are definitely some moments. Oh yeah. if you guys think the laugh is loud, I mean the yelling's louder.
Yeah, you see, folks, you see, everybody sees, okay? There is anger at Butler Mortgage.
There is anger, but there's a lot of play, there's a lot of laughter. There's a lot of laughter.
All right, but there is some serious fucking anger too.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
it's for reals. Okay,
we get through it.
For reals.
For real.
All right, so the big news of last week in the mortgage business was rates. Rates dominated the story of last week. Rates, fixed rates came down fairly aggressively. So let's give the whole background. Like prior to the tariff terror 10 days ago, about 10 days ago now,
Mhm.
the rates were just fixed rates. So I got to tell the whole story. What drives fixed rates? Bond yields drive fixed rates. So I'll come back to the bond yields in a minute because they need a proper explanation. So rates were not really falling much, but bond yields were. So the rates were coming down a bit. They'd been coming down a bit for 3 straight weeks prior to the Trump tariff tantrum. Okay. One thing about a T name, there's lots of alliteration you can do all the time. Like there's so much you can do. So then the bond yields fell off a cliff when the tariffs were announced. Like they dropped like 18 points, like just like that. And then during the course of the day, there's Trudeau. I'll be having conversations with the president. He gets very breathy. I will be talking to the president, and we will do our best. Okay, so then Trump says, I'm going to guess the conversation went something like, all right, so you promised to get rid of the fentanyl, and okay, fuck it. Justin, I'll give you another month. Smarten the fuck up. And there's a reprieve for a month. There's no tariffs for a month. All right. So same in Mexico. Like, it's odd, right? Like, essentially the same promises to do the same fucking things that, and it only lasted minutes, right?
Yeah. It was super short.
Sheer fuckery. Okay. So the bond just went right back up again. But what happened was they'd fallen off such a cliff that I can only assume the banks all looked at each other and said, well, the drift down that we saw in bond yields for the course of the whole previous 3 weeks is indicative of how bad things are.
Right.
And, there was the trough that happened up and down when the tariffs were announced and then removed. But, they didn't go up any higher. Like, so again, trend is down, slowly down. Bond yields down, 3 straight weeks, tariff tantrum. And then, but it just, the bond yields just went back to where they were essentially the minute they declared the tariff.
Yeah.
So that meant every bank, every lender said, okay, this is where they are now. This is not a fluke. This is really where these bond yields are. All right, let's dig into bond yields. So,
explain what the hell a bond yield.
What the hell's a bond yield? All right, so fixed mortgage rates are driven by bond yields, and that's because, unlike a variable rate, so when we think about a variable rate, it's just a discount for the Bank of Canada, right?
Yeah.
So if the Bank of Canada drops 25 basis points, drops a quarter point, your bank prime drops a quarter point, and all of your rates reset and all of your interest resets to that. So your repayment might drop, your HELOC interest goes, but it's easy. There's the announcement. Here's the new rate.
Right.
That's it. And all of those programs, those mortgage programs for variable rate, they're funded through something called CORA. I won't bore everybody to death, but in essence, it's just a kind of 30-day, 90-day rolling rate. Okay, they used to call them banker's acceptance. But essentially it's just how banks trade with each other. How banks, because banks go back and forth with lending to each other all the time. And it's sort of designed to mirror those rates. But in the end, it's driven by the Bank of Canada. So it's all understandable, right? It's like, there's no confusion to it. Oh, it went down. Instead of going down a quarter, it went down a half. So now my mortgage rate goes down a half, goes down 50 basis points. Easy to understand. Bond yields are different. Bond yields are the Government of Canada bonds.
Okay.
So about 75% of all Bank of Canada bonds are traded within Canada. They're mainly traded within banks, pension funds, other kind of lenders. So it's because what's a bond? Okay, so Bank of Canada bond is our country borrows money every day to function.
Okay.
Like the whole concept of running a government is that the taxes would be equal to the spending. So you bring in every month, you bring in enough money in taxes to be equal to the spending.
Okay.
But Canada, like most other countries, America's actually the worst. They borrow. The taxes come in, and they're not enough to pay for all the government expenses, all the government programs. So they got to borrow the money. The way you borrow money as a government is to sell bonds.
Okay.
So Government of Canada bonds get sold. They are guaranteed by in the United States, they always say by the full faith and credit of the United States, people of the United States guarantee our treasury bills, okay? So, hey, that's pretty good, right? I mean, particularly if you have the biggest military, that helps too, right?
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
definitely.
yeah, like, well, we're mad at you, so we're going to try to hurt you economically. Okay, we'll kill you all. All right, so there you go.
It's very Trump of
There's
you.
always, yeah, you know, like Trump said the other day, you know, you guys in Iran, if you think you're going to kill me, I've already left all the instructions. You will be obliterated. There will be nothing left of Iran if you assassinate me. You will be gone from the face of the earth.
It is absolutely insane. When you told me that, I was like, I believe it.
I can show you the clip. I can show you the Trump clip. Iran will be obliterated.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm thinking, wow, okay. Don't fuck with him.
Don't fuck with him.
You will be bombed into nuclear winter, okay?
Yeah.
I mean, you do anything with Trump. Right? I got to admit. Like, I said to everybody when he got elected, I said, we're going to be back to laughing every day. There's going to be
That's true.
You know, a certain sometimes you'll be horrified, but there'll be moments of laughter every single day.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like, yeah, you know, I think I'm going to buy Gaza. I'm going to buy the Gaza Strip, and we're going to put in hotels. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I got to watch it because there's like these. Here's a point. This is something the listeners don't know and the viewers don't know. Jeanine controls the comments.
Oh, I do.
Jeanine is in charge of editing all the comments, which mostly mean that if she doesn't like something, you get blocked. Like, you can never see the podcast again.
You get banned.
You get banned. You get banned.
You know, as my first time being on the pod here, if any of you guys say anything bad to me
in the comments,
I'll ban all you fuckers.
Yeah, she's going to ban all you fuckers, okay? All you fuckers going to be banned. But yet we know they'll still do it.
Oh, they'll still do it 100%. Yeah. Yeah, I'm screwed.
Yeah. I mean, they'll still do it. Like, I mean, honestly, there is no podcast goes without somebody saying, you know, not only is everything you say wrong, but you need to go on a fucking diet. Okay, like every single podcast.
It's
we get
true.
that.
I know. I mean, that's the internet for you, right?
That is how it all works in social media.
Yeah.
So, getting back to bond yields. So, bond yields are a traded commodity. So, in other words, there's banks and pension funds are buying bonds and selling Canada bonds. Buying Government of Canada bonds, selling Government of Canada bonds. And the pricing of those bonds creates the bond yield. Now, somebody like an engineer, there's some engineers and accountants out there who are saying, well, could you put up a graph, please? I want you to put up a graph, and I want you to show go down the graph and all the points and what exactly you mean by that, which I am not fucking going to do, okay? No, I'm not, all right? I'm just going to tell you this.
No graphs.
No graphs, okay? I'm not an engineer. I'm not an accountant, okay? I know how it works, but I'm not going to do any of that shit. So it's easy. It's traded. Traded means there's a bunch of people sitting at desks. And by the way, it's 30 to 25 to 30% of it's traded by other countries, people in other banks, people in other countries. So it's a Bloomberg machine, which is this huge machine with 1 million screens on it. I'm exaggerating slightly, but not too much. And a Bloomberg machine, and it allows you to track information about the bonds, and you can decide whether you want to buy and sell. It used to be, if you go back even just 20 years ago, there was all these people on the phone, like you're trying to phone somebody and say, yeah, you know, what's the bid? Deal. And then
I think I've seen that in a movie once or twice.
You've seen that in a movie. So, yeah. That happened, but now it's different. Now it's a Bloomberg machine. You'd buy and sell through the Bloomberg machine. And so it's basically, to simplify, the idea is, in a very, very simplified way, is if the traders believe that inflation is going to go up, bond yields should go up. If the traders believe in deflation, that prices are either going to stay at, inflation is going to be rock bottom or it's going to go down. Let's say, for the sake of argument, inflation is 1.9% today. If people think it's going to go down to like 1%, then the bond yields theoretically should go down.
Right.
Okay. And this trading of these is what drives mortgage rates. Now, everybody's entitled to understand a little bit more the next step in that. Why do these bond yields drive mortgage rates? Well, this is the government of Canada. In theory, this is the most secure bond that that any country can have, because it means that the taxpayers are on the hook, right? So if we've sold a bond to another country, or a bank's bought a bond, or a pension fund's bought a Government of Canada bond, if Canada gets in trouble, the concept is, well, fuck it, we just raise taxes. The taxpayer has to bail out the bonds, because that's how it works. The next best grade of bond after that should be mortgage bonds, right? So in other words, particularly the ones that are insured through CMHC or through Sagen or through Canada Guarantee, which all have a guarantee associated with the government. 100% for CMHC, 90% for Sagen and Canada Guarantee. So if you're a bond trader, you say to yourself, well, that's with government guarantees, those mortgage bonds get pretty fucking close to the Government of Canada bonds. So that's where your mortgage rates come from, folks. They come from a bank, or basically banks. Sometimes there's other lenders involved, but let's try to simplify. There's aggregators. I could go into jargon all day long, but you should hate that if you're a listener.
Let's not.
Don't do the jargon.
Let's not.
Right? So let's just say that a bank is going to bundle a whole bunch of mortgages together and turn it into a bond. I'm super oversimplifying, okay? But let's just say that's how it works. So because that bond is based on, in some cases, not guaranteed mortgages, in some cases, guaranteed mortgages, but typically in Canada, Canadians pay their mortgage. So we've talked about default rates before, 90-day default rates. So 90-day default rates in Canada are less than 0.25%.
Wow.
So the chances of of this bundled up mortgage security not paying are very fucking little.
Right.
Okay. Plus there's a bank that might, make sure that everything works out too, standing in between. So that's where the concept comes from, that the rates are a function of those mortgage bond yields.
And they fluctuate, just like,
they reflect what is happening through the Government of Canada sales. Okay. So I've gone through this long explanation. A number of listeners and viewers have said, fuck this, I got to get a coffee. This is stupid. Or fuck this.
I'm going to walk away for a couple minutes.
Or I'm just going to, let me go back to Joe Rogan. This is fucking boring. Okay. But yeah, this is how it works. So but I've got to emphasize this. It's people trading at desks. It's people trying to get one up on each other. A bond trader is only as good as the profit he makes, okay, or she makes. Although 90% of them are men. Whatever, who cares? Like 90% of doctors, pretty soon 90% of doctors are going to be women.
Yeah, that's true too.
There's no point. No point. Just call it the way it looks. All right.
Yeah.
It's just like Pierre Poilievre said the other day. There's only males and females. There's nothing else. Okay. Trump said the same thing.
They did, yeah.
He actually made that the official policy of the United States, too.
Oh, yes,
There's only two genders.
That. Yeah.
Women and men. That's it. Everything in between, nah. So, look, I think people could... but the other smart thing Poilievre said was, he said, whatever people want to do in private, I don't care.
Yeah.
But for the sake... You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
And Poilievre's dad's gay, okay?
Oh, is he?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Poilievre's dad's gay.
Okay.
He talks about it all the time.
Okay.
So we don't care, but we just, for the sake of working through life, okay, we're just going to go with male and female for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd have to agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. So we're rednecks. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're all a bunch of rednecks.
I'm biting my tongue a little bit.
We're all a bunch of rednecks. So the idea here is that these guys, chiefly guys, so there's a few women traders, but chiefly guys who trade the bonds, they're just trying to get one up on the other guy. They're trying to look whether they're guessing right about the future, that they're guessing right about what lies ahead, that they can price it in a perfect way to make more profit for their bank and in turn enhance their bonus. So when people like to ask me, Ron, what's the future of mortgage rates? The only thing I can tell them is, today, they're down.
Right.
And they'll probably be down for a little while. And then after about 2 weeks, I have no fucking clue.
Right.
Okay. There's traders trading, and I don't have those answers. All I can tell you right now is better rates.
Yeah.
Lots of rates start with a 3. Lots of 5-year, 3-year rates start with a 3. Definitely for anybody who's buying a house with less than 20% down payment, like 10% down payment, CMHC insured, They all start with a 3.
Okay.
All of them start.
That's
basically
good
all
to
of them
know.
start with a 3. Yeah. So that is a good deal. So it encourages people to want to take advantage of that and buy a house. The whole concept is that when rates are lower, people have been on the sidelines thinking about buying. They choose to buy.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. And that's where we're at right now. We're at a point where, in Canada at least, it looks like inflation is quiet and the economy is not looking brilliant in total. And lousy economy tends to keep inflation down in the broad sense. And therefore, rates could stay down for a while.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
Yeah. So I know like a lot of people think that, rates go down, house prices go up. You want to expand on that a little bit? And
yeah, that's a particularly important question today because God knows when we saw in 2021, when we saw rates go to sweet fuck all, I mean, we had like 1.49 5-year fixed, and we had for one brief moment in time, if you were buying a house with 10% down on CMHC, you could get a 0.99 variable rate.
Wow.
That's how crazy that was. So yeah, it was ridiculous. That definitely pushed people to go out and buy houses. And then it becomes a treadmill. It becomes, buddy just bought a house and he paid like 200 grand more for it. But maybe that's the price now.
Yeah.
So if I don't hurry the fuck up, by next week it could be 400 grand more.
Exactly.
And I gotta get it. It's called FOMO, fear of missing out.
Right.
Okay. Which I think sort of has been replaced by FOOF. Okay.
FOOF.
Fear of getting fucked. Okay. Or FOGU or something like that. Because what you have to think about is, even though rates are coming down, the economy ain't great.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, what if the tariffs come back?
Right.
It's in the back of everybody's mind, right? I know. I think about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's 30 days. We got a guy who wants to nuke Iran if they even like if anything even looks bad to him. We got a guy who wants to, every day some new. And it's funny. It's fucking funny. Every night I come home and I say, "What's he said today?"
What the fuck did Trump say today?
Okay, like some of it's just fine. Like he had like a really interesting scene the other night. He had invited 50 female athletes, all ages, like older women, young girls, to the White House, where he signed the ban on any men participating in women's sports. Okay. And this guy's got a lot of grandkids, right? Like he does. He's got a lot. He's got a big family, and he's actually pretty good with kids. Like it's weird.
I know. I've seen him golfing with his granddaughters.
He's good with kids, and it was really a nice scene to watch him. And there was also a woman there who I know had campaigned for the last 6 years to get men out of college, university level sports. Yeah, because she was planning on winning a championship and going to the Olympics as a swimmer, and then this guy showed up who's still fully intact man and decided he's going to call himself a woman. Yeah, and he won all the stuff. Yeah, see, that's not cool. That's not cool to me. I mean, that's like so fucking wrong. I mean, testosterone levels are way different, and it's not like the muscle mass is going to just disappear if you start taking estrogen. So, look, I mean, at the end of the day, women fought for a century for their place in sports. Right. Okay. So it makes no sense to me. And of course, people say, well, you're crazy because it's only a handful. That hardly ever happens. Here's my position. If it happened one fucking time, I don't like it. One's enough. One fucking time. I don't fucking like it. After women actually, we just got a professional hockey league here, too. Right. So that's so cool. It's the proof that women's efforts, because sure as fuck men didn't let them do it. Women did it, okay? Women's efforts to have a robust sports scene of their own took a century. Okay, and very long time. We don't need anybody to fuck with it. Okay, so I'm pleased that that's happened. Me too. Like I say, some of the stuff Trump does is kind of okay, and some of the stuff
is absolutely
just
insane.
Like, what the fuck did you say? What? He's going to buy Gaza, or they're going to what? They're going to turn it into you're going to turn it into a beach resort? I mean, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Anyway, they sort of walked that back the next day. No, he didn't mean that. No. That's
not what he said.
No, he didn't mean that. That was a misunderstanding. Okay, but it's kind of funny every day. It's something new. I mean, we'll see what happens next.
We'll see tomorrow.
But with the worry about tariffs coming back, it's a legitimate worry. Okay,
Yeah.
Maybe not be 25%, maybe 10%, maybe something, maybe nothing. Nobody knows. Tariffs are by the way, he left the tariffs on China.
Oh, did he?
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. They're just tariffs
So
there.
just Mexico and Canada, they took it off.
No, suspended. You're going to re-look at it.
Yeah.
Like in
We
another,
got a break for a month.
we're down to like 25 days.
Oh my God.
So 22 days. So it's coming. We don't know. So that's nerve-wracking for one thing. And it is very, very impactful on a housing market.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who's been through like a real recession, and a real housing recession, like 1990 through 94,
Right.
when prices went down every single year. No price went up at all.
Wow.
Right? So I've been through that, and hardly anybody buys.
Yeah.
You don't buy a house knowing that it's probably going to be worth less next year.
No, of course
That's
not.
fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So yes, that could offset lower rates. That's the truth of it. Lower rates do stimulate people to buy.
Yeah.
Lower mortgage rates. Like these rates aren't like it's 3.99, 3.94.
Right.
I mean, it's not like
it's not bad.
It's not like it's 149. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not.
Right.
But if people have been holding off, they become interested in thinking about it more carefully, take more interest, get serious about it. But by the same token, if you think your employment is in any kind of jeopardy, nobody buys a house thinking they might get laid off in a month. Okay? Like I've been around. I've been through it. It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Nobody does it.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's the counterforce to it all. Okay. And yeah, so we're going to see the results of that. But for today, and particularly good news for people renewing a mortgage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Lower rate, that's very meaningful.
Yeah.
Lower rates renewal is
it is.
About 85% of people are coming off higher rates.
Yeah.
And these rates will still be higher. Some of these people are like 249. Okay.
Yeah. Some of them are super low. And some of them are super high. I mean, there's some.
Well, there's people who who took mortgages out 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago. Particularly if they took a 2-year term 2 years ago, they're paying like high fives.
Yeah.
So they are going to get a bit of a benefit. But look, I don't begrudge anybody's benefit on their renewal. They bought the house. They need to get by.
Mm-hmm.
If they can get a better renewal rate, get it.
Absolutely.
Okay. We've talked about tactics before. We'll probably come back in future episodes to talk about more and more tactics about how to convince your bank to give you a better rate. But ultimately, lower rates are better for mortgage borrowers in effectively all cases.
Yeah.
Okay? If you got a mortgage already, let's all be decent about being happy with people who got a better deal. Just
100%.
the right way to approach it. Okay. So yeah, that's what we're going to look at. Like it was a particularly kind of a crappy house sales month in Ontario. And BC continues to move sort of sideways. Calgary looks like they're fine. Calgary, Edmonton look okay. Quebec continues to be good. But I really want to point this out. It's really important for the listeners to understand and the viewers to understand. This is not a good, robust, real estate market.
Yeah.
In half the population of Canada live in British Columbia and in Ontario.
Yeah.
So, pretty close. Like if you take Alberta into that group, it's like the majority. Like we're way up into over half.
Mm-hmm.
And Ontario's 38% of the population of Canada. So, and it ain't good. Like real estate is pretty damn slow. We just got the January numbers last week, and they weren't good.
Okay.
Prices are basically the same. They're, when you've only got like a 1% difference in a month, you don't know if just a few more really expensive houses skewed the average, right?
Yeah.
So you can't really take it. When you see, you just can't tell.
Yeah.
You need quarters to really decide about house prices.
I feel like sales will go up. Like I'm not sure what you think, but I think like in the spring, summer, people tend to want to move a little bit more.
That's the natural move.
Yeah.
Okay? It's always been every single realtor refers to a spring market.
Yeah.
So We're freezing our balls right now. Okay, I mean, it's all last week. What's with this fucking weather in Ontario? Like, it just snows. It doesn't snow like a foot and then fuck off for 2 weeks. Every second day, it just snows.
Yeah.
Every 2 or 3 days, it just snows a little.
And it's like wet, slushy snow, and
pain
you're
in the
sliding
ass.
all over the place.
So people got a fucking shovel, and you're just shoveling like a half an inch, and then but you still got to dress up, still got to shovel, still fucking cold, and then you wait for 2 days and it's back.
Yep.
Another half of an inch. So notice I say inch. I don't say fucking metric.
Centimeters.
Okay. Do you do centimeters for snow?
Yeah, I do, until it starts to get to the feet.
Okay, so this is a crazy thing in Canada. Like, virtually no one that I know expresses people's weight in metric. I never heard anybody say, "Yeah, I'm 80 kilograms."
Yeah.
What the
I know.
fuck? Okay. Everybody still uses pounds for some reason.
100% here. Yeah.
But for the highway, we're just kilometers, right? Like for the speed, we're just so fucking weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, weather no fucking good, but that's all there is to it. It's no fucking good.
Oh, we have no choice. We're here, right?
We're here. We're in Canada. We got to live with it. Yeah. So I foresee it was a lousy. First of all, it was a lousy January. Sales were I think slightly lower than last year in the TREB system, most of Southern Ontario. And the interesting thing is, inventory exploded in January. Now, I want to stop and explain what I mean by that. Is that listings exploded? Okay, like people offering their homes to sell.
Right.
Now, a shit ton of those were condos. Let's face it. Like, I'm not going to do. I've even got some people starting. Well, there's even one guy, like a condo developer, has actually developed a hate page on LinkedIn for me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, fuck, no,
really?
I'm not kidding. Yeah, this guy. What's his name? I think it's Saif Hassan. He's a developer. Okay, a guy who builds condos. And something. And he put up like two different pages on LinkedIn ridiculing the stuff I put out. Okay, all of my social media content
about the dog crate condos.
Well, just in general, his position was that I'm an idiot.
Wow.
Okay, he just broke down everything about. Now he has some reason to want to do that, right? Because he is a dog crate condo developer.
That's his job.
Okay, that's his job. But we're starting to get a little pushback.
Yeah,
we're starting to get a little pushback from the developer community, which is crazy because I'm actually fucking an ant in the media world, right? Like I'm just an insect, okay? So you really must have touched a nerve with this guy,
definitely,
okay?
Yeah.
For him to want to run hate posts on LinkedIn, okay? Let me explain why this man of little intelligence.
You pissed him right off.
Just a lot, and he's a good writer. I give him that. He's a very good writer. But it's a little like it's very, very university kind of writing. Like, it's very, very high level of writing. It's good. It's caustic. It's mean. It's cutting. Okay. He goes into great detail about what everything I say is stupid and wrong. Okay. But hey, you're a condo developer. If I say condos are fucked, then I guess you have a reason to be mad.
Yeah.
Because it's how you make your living, right? I mean, it's the basis of all your wealth.
Yeah.
So, fuck this fat fuck. Okay. Like, I'm going to try to bring him down. I don't think that'll happen, but there's a little bit of pushback. There's some pushback on the. So I'm not going to do a big section on dog crate condos today.
Yeah.
But trust me, folks, we'll be coming back to the dog crate condos because the fun never ends in that thing.
Not in Ontario.
It's not funny for the owners, I'll tell you. But it's so what we had is a huge number of new listings were added to the TREB system in January. Like, I think it was the record of all time.
Really?
Increase in listings in the most rapid period of time. Okay. Wow. So that's just an indication that a bunch of people want to sell.
And they're lower cost, the pricing, the selling price.
No. It's amazing. Like, there are some smart follows in social media. And one guy in particular, he puts up listings in the same building. Like these are identical square footage condos, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're just the next condo down on the 3 floors down and exactly the same number, like instead of you're 3103 and the guy down there is 2803, right? That's the same size unit, right?
Right.
He says people don't even look at what they're selling for. Like one guy's selling for $720 and the other guy below him is offered at $644. I mean, like, pay attention, dude. It's the same unit, okay?
You have to compare. Like,
but that's the crazy part. Like, people don't.
Yeah.
And Yeah, so the prices are all over the place. I mean,
Right.
like I said, prices in the TREB system in January were up a tiny bit, like just about 1%, which is, you can't really apply to that. But we do know that the price of condos has fallen.
Yeah.
The dog crate condo world, the dog crate condo world is still under pressure. There's no question, and it will continue to be. But huge expansion of listings, which realtors refer to as a buyer's market.
Yeah.
Because if there's a lot more sellers than buyers, in theory, that means the negotiation goes in favor of the buyer. We'll see. There's still we got a long runway yet, but it is interesting. Highest percentage increase in listings, maybe in forever. Another bad piece of information that came out from last month was that we built fuck all single family homes in Ontario last year. It was the lowest number of single family home starts in Ontario since they started keeping records.
Wow.
So we're talking 70 years.
Wow.
Yeah, like in 1953, when there was 1/4 of the people here, there were 43,000 starts. And now there's only 15,000 in Ontario. Boomers fuck the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Boomers like me have fucked the whole
that.
world. Okay. Yeah, because that is exactly the smart comment. Because if you stop building something, you make the existing thing more scarce, right? Although that's not true for cars, but it is true for homes. Okay. If you stop building single family homes and all you're really building are condos, which they stopped to, like condo starts fell off a cliff last year, just ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's enough.
Yeah, there's probably enough dog crate condos, but because there's 55,000 coming over the next 2 years. So, in the TREB system. But look, the other thing is that by not building, you create less opportunity. That means the resale stuff is all you got, right? If that's it. And yes, Ontario's population will shrink a little in the next 2 years. But that's probably another thing Safe Hassan's mad at me about. But it will shrink down a little bit. But in reality, if you stop building, that makes the stuff that's here more expensive in the end. Not immediately. It could be a year from now. Could be 2 years from now. Could be 5 years from now.
Yeah.
But and let's face it, no matter how many people say we need 15-minute cities, we need these density, we should only be building condos, we should only be building high-rise, majority of people still want low-rise.
Yeah.
Majority of people still want a townhouse, a semi, a single family.
Absolutely.
It's aspirational. You feel that way, right?
Yeah.
And so do your friends, right?
Yeah. I'm 30 years old. I mean, all my friends are 30 years old, and we all want a home. We don't want a condo. We don't want a tiny little apartment. Like, we want a home to eventually raise families in, just like, our parents got to.
That's the aspirational existence. So that at least you could have the same basic kind of standard of living as us evil boomer fuckers experienced effortlessly, okay?
Yes. It's hard out here.
Yeah, exactly. And by building no single family homes or this incredibly low number of low-rise homes for sale.
Yeah.
Because there still is a kind of a little boom on in building purpose-built rentals, building apartment buildings and stuff, building some townhouse projects for rental, okay? But you can't buy those.
Yeah,
They're not designed that way at all. They're designed only for rent. Okay?
Yeah. So it's like, what are our options, really? I mean...
Hey, it's fuckery. All right. Yeah. Okay, we have some questions from the audience.
We do have a couple questions. Okay, I mean, kind of goes off what we were just talking about, but I know you get this all the time, but I have to ask, is this a good time to buy a house? Mortgage rates may not stay down for long.
Oh, we covered all that territory, but it also, this is the important part, that question encompasses personal circumstances, okay?
Right.
Like, if you've just had triplets, you're probably really fucking thinking about you need some more space,
right?
Okay, so I often reflect on this and say it's a personal decision, okay? Like, and by the way, like if you come home early and your husband's in bed with your sister, you're going to want to get divorced, right?
Well, yeah.
Chances are, right? I mean, that's reasonable,
Probably
isn't
wouldn't
it?
buy a house with him.
No, you're not buying a house with him again. No. So, I mean, people always get appalled. Did he say sister? I mean, like,
he said sister.
Okay, we get that sometimes, but I just tried to make it as definitive as possible. You will break up if that happens. That you will break up. Okay. So that's the point. You need to sell.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to buy, but it's personal too. It's not just pure economics, pure rate, pure price.
Circumstantial.
Okay? It's circumstantial.
Yeah.
And that's really, really important.
Right.
So I can't really answer the question, but if you're just saying to me, what do you think prices will be? Again, I'm not certain, but I know this. In a lousy economic time, prices trend down.
Right.
That's reality.
Yeah.
So that's the only intelligent thing I could say.
Right. And running off on that question, they also asked if come the summertime, should they go variable or fixed? And I'm in the same boat because I would actually like to buy a house myself this year.
Yeah. Okay. So that's another great question. But here's the other important part about a lousy economy. Lousy economy, chances are Bank of Canada keeps dropping. So variable goes down. Okay. We had one bank come out with analysis that said the bank will drop all the way to 1.5%. That's 625 basis point cuts.
That's a lot.
And then at the Bank of Nova Scotia, they said, "No, fuck, we think it's going up." So
Oh, wow.
But look, I'm gonna make my call on this. If the economy goes to rat shit, even though it has a bad effect on the Canadian dollar versus the U.S., I believe the bank will keep cutting. So that would lead me to believe that for the next 6 months, variable's a pretty good idea.
Variable's still a
good idea.
Yeah. All right. Another question we have here is, how do I figure out my penalty? I have a 5-year fix, 3.5 years to go. I'm sure the bank guy said it's 3 months interest penalty.
Okay, so it's not. This is what I'll tell you. I mean, this is a very, very common thing we get from people calling in. Oh yeah, I think I should pay the penalty because rates are down. Like I've got a 5.69 rate and I'd like to get a better rate. I think you're advertising this 3.94 rate. Can I get that? You have to calculate the penalty because if you've got a fixed rate mortgage, it's not 3 months. You read the paragraph, it says two things. That's why people think it's 3 months because they just read the first thing. It says the penalty shall be, in your contract, 3 months interest penalty or interest differential based on the calculation of the interest rates at the time versus your rate.
Oh, wow.
Which is incomprehensible. Like every bank has a different calculation.
Right.
Some of these banks have 11 paragraphs on how to do the calculation. So
it'd be different for each person. I mean,
but always more than 3 months.
Right.
Always more than 3 months because the last part of that contract clause says the greater of the two.
Wow.
The greater thereof. So you never get 3 months interest on a fixed. You always get 3 months interest penalty on a variable. Every single contract reads the same. 3 months interest penalty. Okay.
Yeah.
On variable, but not on fixed. Fixed. Fuck if it's a bad calculation, because again, every bank has different contract wording to their calculation of the penalty, to the break penalty. So yeah, you got to stop and somehow dig that information out of the bank before you think about. You can't just say, yeah, I'm sure it's 3 months and it's this much. No. What if you find out it's triple that?
Right. No, you really got to do your math.
You have to do your digging and get that right answer.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and I know a lot of people are thinking about it because if you have 529 and you see 394, you're going to think about it. So, and you should, but you got to do your homework first. And don't listen to bullshit artists in mortgage broker world who are telling you, yeah, guaranteed it's going to be great.
Yeah.
You need to see the math. You need to dig it out of your bank, what their exact estimate of your penalty is. It won't be perfect. It'll only last that day, but it's close enough, and you'll be able to make a rational decision, seeing what it's really costing you to break.
Yeah.
So we've hit our favorite part of the program.
What the actual fuck?
Like, what? What the fuck? I mean, Jesus H. Christ, how did we get into the situation in Canada where there's two fucking sort of elections going on at once? Like, we got a fucking election in Ontario, which is a fuck show, okay? And then we got the leadership campaign to become the next prime minister going on across the country.
Yeah.
We got Carney, we got Friedland, we got who the fuck cares else, okay? We don't give a shit.
It's really between those two.
It's really just Carney. It's really just the Carney coronation, okay? Right. But still, it's every fucking day.
Yeah.
We either got to listen to Doug Ford. Well, folks, Look, is the mic off? Good. I was glad when Trump got in, and then the fucker put the knife in me. Like, I'm thinking, whoa. I mean, I know he swears a lot, and I like that. But,
Similar.
But anyway, and then we got and then the NDP and the Liberals, they're just like pissing money down both legs, okay? Yeah, we're going to buy the 407 and make it free. What's that going to cost for fucking? Oh, it's only $30 billion. Don't say anything. What? What the fuck?
Only $30 billion. There goes our tax money.
Yeah, we're going to double these benefits for people. Oh, well, that might be nice, but what the fuck does that cost? Okay,
right.
like it's all the same. If they get elected, well, you know what? We promised this, but now we've studied how bad the fucking books are. The last fives were so fucking bad. We can't do it. It's impossible.
Can't do it.
We can't do it. It's impossible. Yeah. So, God forgive everybody in fucking Ontario is losing their fucking minds. There's 2 fucking campaigns going on at once in Ontario, and it's only a week in, and it's only a couple of weeks in, and I just fucking hate it.
It's crazy. It's insane.
I fucking hate it.
We get multiple calls every day from different parties.
I'm getting text from Doug Ford, auto text from Doug Ford. Hey, can I count on your vote there? Oh, fuck me. Awful. Okay, like, why can't you just keep them separate? Fuck off. Can you keep them separate? This is too much. All right, so what the actual fuck is, I hate this I'm going to hate fucking politics for months now. It's awful. All right.
It's a lot.
Okay, we're out.
We're out.
If you like the pod, well, don't just sit there. Go to YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and all the other ones and like the pod. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep being angry at mortgages and swearing about mortgages. Angry Mortgage could use your support.